Shameel Uddin, and the topic of today's webinar is offensive approach in cybersecurity. So this is a disclaimer. Uh, in short, this is about you not using this knowledge for unethical purpose. You can read it out. So introduction. So what is this about offensive cybersecurity? It deploys a proactive approach to security through the use of ethical hacking or penetration testing. I will come into these terms in upcoming slides. Right. Okay, guys. If I'm speaking a bit too fast, you can ask me to slow down because I speak quite fast in Urdu and in English both.
Shamil bhai, you
So
need to.
offensive security uses. Yeah.
You are too fast.
I can't hear you properly.
Shamil bhai, you are too fast. You are going too fast.
Okay. So I'm trying to go a little slow. So offensive security uses ethical hacking techniques to mimic cyber attacks, right? This method exploits security vulnerabilities, like vulnerability means weaknesses that can eliminate the guesswork of what may happen during an attack. So what is penetration testing or ethical hacking? It is an exercise to identify vulnerabilities which could be present in network system or web application of an organization. These tests are authorized tests and are carried by professionals who use same techniques that real attacker may use. So the penetration testing demonstrates the weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and most importantly the remedies. Let's move forward to the real thing. Right. So what are the reason of penetration test or offensive approach in cybersecurity? So it evaluates current security profile of an organization or of a website. It highlights the effects of weaknesses. So not every attacks is of a very high impact. Suppose there's a vulnerability in a network or a website that you have exploited, but it does not affect or impact the business that much. So like in bug bounty, you are not going to be get rewarded much for that impact. So the impact also matters. Not every vulnerability or exploitation has a higher impact. So after evaluating attack and the impact on the business, we can the penetration tester or the offensive cybersecurity professional creates a security measures and provides the documentation. This is the main part, right? You have to provide a proper documentation of the test that you have done in your project of offensive cybersecurity. Let's move forward. How do we perform penetration test or like ethical hacking? So what we have to do is follow methodology. There are different methodologies like you can follow nest or for web application you can follow OWASP. It is open web application. OWASP. You can google these two terms about what these are strategy important penetration tests. So in penetration test you have to limit the scope. Let's suppose you have to perform a penetration test of a website or you hack a website in some certain domains, like he asked you to hack internal areas of the website and not perform any attack on login or sign up forms. Similarly in networks, if you are performing a penetration test, then the organization would ask you to perform in a certain domain and not exceed that domain. So you have to sign certain documents, non disclosure documents and different things like that, that you cannot exceed to the outer scope, because you are not going to be paid for it, and sometimes they might sue you because you are not allowed to enter in those areas in website or
Shamil
in
bhai,
networks.
Shamil bhai,
So you have to use right tools, coding, and proper
Shamil bhai.
mindset of an attacker to
Excuse me.
complete this task. uh,
So you are in the
Someone speaking.
Shamil bhai, your voice is not clear. Like there's a lot of jittering in your voice.
What?
There's a lot of uh, noise in your voice.
I'm using mic. Is this problem with everyone?
Yes. This is
Yeah.
there are problem in
Uh,
chat, and you are also fast. Actually,
I'm
you can keep an eye on the chat as well, so that you can have reviews from the audience.
I can't see the chat. The presentation is on full screen. Let me check.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
my voice is still not clear.
Y- Your voice is clear now, better than before.
Maybe it's due to bad network. Let me change the network. Okay. So shall I continue or move backward?
Yes, yes. You may
Restart or
continue,
what?
Samil bhai. You may continue.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but आपकी जो स्पीड है ना वो बहुत ज्यादा
So
जा रही है,
types of
सो भाई
penetration tests. So
तो स्पीड जो है वो आप थोड़ी स्लो रख लें प्लीज.
okay. Okay. I'll try to speak much slower. So there are three types of penetration tests. First one is white box, black box, and gray box. In white box penetration test, suppose if you are pen testing a website, so in white box penetration test, the client would give you all of the information about the website, like how the front end is developed, how the back end is developed. In like you would be in contact with a developer who has developed the website, and he will tell you all ins and outs of the website. You will be known about the database structure, how the database is connected with the backend, how the APIs are working in the environment. So this is how white box works. In networks, uh, if I talk about network penetration testing, then the network administrator, you would be in contact with the network administrator, and that network administrator would give you information about what are the protocols which are being currently used in an organization: STP, OSPF, uh, VTP, any sort of layer 2 or layer 3 network protocols which are currently used in the organization. In short, if you are performing a white box penetration test, you are given full information about the environment, right? This is the already giving you all of the information about their environment. In black box penetration test, you are given no information about their environment. You if I talk about website, then a client will not tell you about anything about what is the backend structure, how database is being developed, how APIs are working, and similar with networks area. But so these are the two main differences of white box and black box. In white box, you have whole information about the environment. In black box pays less and black box pays more, and it also goes for the more larger number of days. Gray box, what is gray box? In gray box, you are given an information, you are given limited information. The information generally an employee would have. Suppose you are working in an organization about what network is deployed, like what website are you using. So gray box is a very limited information. So in gray box penetration test, the client would give you an information that a general employee would have, right? So this, which is why it is called a gray box. You have a limited information about the organization. So there are various types of penetration tests. These are some that I have mentioned here, like external, internal, cloud, wireless, database, web app, and there are many more. You can Google it out, right? So what are the phases of penetration test? So these are the five phases of penetration test. First one is reconnaissance. In reconnaissance, you try to find as much information about your target as possible. So this can be active and passive. So in active reconnaissance, you directly interact with the environment, like you perform some sort of like reconnaissance from Nmap or NetDiscover or different tools like that. But in passive, what you do is you use of open source intelligence from Google or different search engines, and you try to accumulate as much results as possible from different search engines, from social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, because there are certain tools you can find like OSINT tools which would allow you to collect as much information about the target as possible. You can try it on yourself. You leave like huge amount of information on social media, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Facebook, on LinkedIn, you use Instagram. So a hacker, if a hacker is trying to target you, he's going to first stalk you, like a stalker. You know stalkers. So this is the very first step in like ethical hacking. Try to perform scanning, finding weaknesses in a target. In web application, there are like top 10 weaknesses which are mentioned or wasp. You can still Google it. There are on top we have SQL injection, XXE attacks, and different types of attacks. In networks, you can perform port scanning using Nmap and different things. I'm going to show it to you in a practical later on. So after you have found loopholes, you try to exploit them and get into the system or into the network. Then wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, I'll try to speak a little slower once again. So after you have exploited, you try to maintain access into the targets. For suppose you have exploited, you have hacked into a system. So if a system restarts, you lose your access. So you try to create a backdoor or something like that, which allows you to maintain the access into the target. Then you cover your tracks. So what is reconnaissance, or in other terms, information gathering? So it collects basic information to build the foundation, discover operating systems, web servers, and performing certain queries. So like I already explained, there are two types, passive and active. In passive, we have no direct interaction with the target, and in active, we have direct interaction with the target. So the main goal is to create the blueprint. In reconnaissance, we try to create a blueprint of our target and of our environment. So these could be the information that we are looking after, like domain, IP addresses, private webs, TCP, UDP, and a bunch of other information that we collect in reconnaissance. Then we move forward to the scanning phase. So it's a process involving probing a target network with a goal to find out as much as information as we can about those systems. So what we do is we try to send ICMP packets, like pinging to the whole network, to find the live systems, identifying those systems, to discover open or closed ports, and identifying these services running on the system. So this is a note that I have written here. So when reviewing the output from a scanning network, IP addresses that include some type of remote access service, because gaining access to these services often results in complete compromise or owning of the target. Upon discovery of one of the services, hackers typically turn to an online password tracker. So, in other words, if you are scanning a network and you find certain protocols like Telnet, FTP, and VNC, RDP, so what hackers do is that they start their cracking process already and then perform the and simultaneously perform their test. So you can test yourself if you have certain protocols enabled which allow a remote access. Then you should either disable or perform some sort of. So the goal of scanning is to check out for the live hosts. All IP addresses must be gathered, identifying open and operating certification, whether we have Windows, Linux, or like mobile operating systems or Mac OS, and also vulnerability assessment. We have to assess the vulnerabilities after the scanning phase. Then we move towards exploitation. So exploitation just simply means that you have found some weakness in a web application or a live host or a network, and you are just going to exploit it and penetrate into any vulnerable thing, right? So this is what exploitation is. Some people write their own exploits, and there's a whole framework, Metasploit, which provides you various exploits to just directly use them. I'll show it everything to you. So the common issues generally with exploitation are outdated softwares. If you or cracked software, obviously, if you are using a cracked software, you do not know you are already compromised. Outdated operating system or networking devices, misconfiguration. This is in the top 10 list of AWAS. So a misconfigured application or a server would allow your web server to be compromised while operating trusted network devices. Also in secure protocols like RDP or some protocol that you are using which is already vulnerable right now and you have not updated it to on your version, then obviously you can be easily compromised. So maintaining access, like I told you, you have exploited into a system, and now you have to create some sort of backdoor into it or a rootkit like that. Is someone speaking? Hello. Nursel, is there a problem? Hello. Afshan, Mursal, anyone here?
Hello, Upsha here.
Yes. Shall I continue or someone is speaking?
You can continue.
Okay, okay. I continue. So
But
after we have
you
performed
are
our
going too fast.
exploitation and things like that, we try to cover our logs. Like we don't leave any evidence behind. And like yes.
Sorry to interrupt you,
Hello.
but you are
I think
going
Mursal is
too
gone.
fast.
Afshan, are you
So,
here?
yes, yes, I'm here.
सर आपका नेटवर्क इशू है कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही
Am I audible?
Ji? Yes, you are audible now.
I'm saying कि you are going too fast. So please, आप जो मतलब थोड़ी speed कम करें क्योंकि
Hmm.
participants को जो है वो कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है इतना network issue की वजह से.
नेटवर्क इशू है या तेज बोल रहा हूँ या दोनों इश्यूज हैं?
सम टाइम आवाज रुक जाती है तो फिर तेज हो जाती है आई थिंक
Okay. Change the network. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, guys, shall I continue or start from the beginning?
No, you may continue.
Okay, okay, okay.
सर जितनी अच्छी आवाज है रहने दें
So, the layman explanation that I can give right now for these three things are like a reconnaissance. What we have is like we have an area, or I could say a network where we could have web servers or different servers. In web server, we have different websites, systems, and things like that. So in reconnaissance, I've we can give names like we are trying to find this is an area and different systems are houses. So what we do is we try to find as many houses and the information about those houses as much possible, like at which street which house is located. So this is the reconnaissance, right? In scanning, what we do is peek into the windows, like we try to find where we could break in, peek the windows, peek into the doors and things like that. So that is scanning. And in exploitation, we actually break into someone's home. So this is the layman explanation, or right. If I was speaking first, I could explain the things that I explained again. Right now, we should, I guess, move towards the demo. So I'm changing screen. Tell me you can see the things like browser. Let me change it. Sean, can you see the screen now? The chat. I can't see the chat here.
Yeah, we can see the screen now.
Okay, so I'm for demonstration purpose, I will be using Kali Linux as the operating system. I'll be using this. So what you could do is you can just install it as a dual boot, or you can have virtualization enabled and use Kali Linux. For now, we'll be using Microsoft's Azure Cloud. Right, we have cloud, and I have deployed Kali machine here. This is one way to use different virtual machines. Secondly, what you could do is there's a Windows App Store, right, and you can go there and download Kali Linux machine. It's available on Windows Mac Store, so you don't have to like separately install it, and you will have the machine here, and you can perform your practices. The third way is use VMware or VirtualBox to install the machine here, and you can then start working or practicing your right. So first, I guess the machine is already on. This is the machine. This is IP address of the machine. So what I could do right now is go here and connect to it. Mhm. So what I have done here is, let me tell you, I have deployed the Kali machine on Microsoft Azure here. We have machines here. This is Kali Linux, and I have enabled SSH in order to connect to the machine, and I guess I'm entering wrong password. Right, we are in the machine. It's very slow right now. So what I'm going to show you a little bit about social engineering demo. So like if you attended yesterday's demo, Saad explained in detail what social engineering is. Social engineering means that you just fool someone to get their credentials or their account information or any sensitive information about the target, right? So I'm going to demonstrate you something about it. So there are many tools in Kali Linux. For now, I will just focus on about social engineering to promote cyber. is very slow. I don't know, maybe I should restart it. Wait a second, I will just. So you can do that things like that. Okay. Is there any if there are comments, also you can tell me about the comments or the questions. I can answer them.
Okay, one of the question is that why Kali Linux? Does it provide the right tools? We have a lot other
Uh,
flavors for Linux. Yeah, that's the question.
yeah, right. We have different flavors of Linux. So the main purpose of Kali Linux is that it is a distribution which already comes with built-in tools which are used for penetration tests. So that is why I am using. You can use Ubuntu or different distribution of Linux, but you will have to manually install and configure the tools which are using
Maybe
and
your voice is like a bit
tests.
is lacking a lot.
So this is a lot of it is only about internet. Still due to signal issues, or I will just put phone somewhere higher place.
अरे तूने मुझे सही से किया था
So I'll try to stop it again. Just stop it. So I'm starting the machine right now. You see, it has two CPUs and 8 GB memory. We will wait and see when we have public IP available. So wait a second. It started. Here is the IP. It is a public IP, so anyone can use it right now. Even you can use it. So what I will do right now is connect to it. SSH is a protocol which we can use to connect to different machines, just like Telnet is. This is my user, and in order to connect it, I have to provide the IP address. It will ask me for the fingerprint certificate. So yes. So it's fine now, right? So I'm going to be using a toolkit, social engineering toolkit, to demonstrate the attack. Of right, it's causing. I have to use sudo. Yeah. So we are going to perform a social engineering attack. So it's asking us to select this. And we are going for website attacks right now. Now, what should we do? There are like this tool has. If I go back, there are like various attacks. You can perform Arduino attack, QR generator attack, SMS spoofing, PowerShell attacks, different types of attacks in order to lure layman into like your finch. So I'm just going to demonstrate you website attack. So in website attacks, again there are multiple sort of attacks that you can perform and learn about them. For now, just let's just go for credentials harvester, in which I'm going to harvest someone's credentials. So this this is the explanation about this, what this is and how it works. It just simply means that you are going to just compromise someone's username or password. So maybe we should have a web template or something like that. So right, so I'm using a web template already built in web template. So it's asking me to provide a IP address, and it is giving already me the option of this IP address. But if someone here who has knowledge of a bit of a network, this is a private network. If I give its IP address, it will not be used on internet. It will only be used on internal network. But since I'm going to launch this attack on internet, so I have to use this public IP address. Uh, one second, I guess. So it's giving some instructions that if we do this way, then we will get better results. But let's just go for this. I'll just press enter, and we shall be good to go. Are there any questions? No. So it is up, and let's see what we have here. Right. So this is the clone that we have actually made. You can see the instructions here. I have already performed a GET request here, and it has confirmed this IP address. Whoever uh, just logs into it will be providing a whole information to this console. So let's suppose if I give an information here, like test@test.com and password. Let's see what we get here. I guess it's not working properly. It always happens during showing a demo. Has anyone hit here? Let me just change the attack to some here. Here we have it. Here we have got the response, right? Email, and we are in. So you would be thinking, why would someone just go here, right? I mean, why would someone enter someone password? So what we could do is we can like someone I think attempted from this IP address, from this IP address. That's all right. Don't use this, it is just for demonstration purpose. So you can just fool someone like this. What we could do, I could explain you a bit about DNS right now. So what actually happens when you type twitter.com. So generally it does not exist, this thing does not exist. What how communication is done is through IP address. And you know how complex the IP addresses are. It is just a bunch of numbers, and no one remembers numbers, right? So what actually happens when we type this, our computer generally converts it into an IP address. Got it? I hope my point is here is clear. How our computer converts the domain into the IP address, it is done through DNS. So when you type www.twitter.com in your browser, what actually happens is that your browser first consults your computer whether the computer knows about the IP address, right? If your computer knows, then your browser redirects you to the IP address. Otherwise, it asks for DNS server in your network. In any way, your browser tries to resolve this thing into this thing. The domain name is converted into IP address. So in technical terms, I would say that whenever you enter twitter.com, what happens is your browser connects to this IP address. This is Twitter's official IP address in which your browser connects to. So what if we fool the browser to not to connect to Twitter's server but our own server? And how would we do this? I hope I'm making sense. Am I making sense? If there's a confusion, then I may repeat this part here, because this is a very basic social engineering technique normally used to lure normal people. So what happened? Mursal, if there's Afshan, if there's question, then please let me know. I can't see that here. So what happens when I type twitter.com, my browser redirects me to this IP address. So all I have to do right now is to fool the browser to not to go here, but to this IP address, attacker's IP address. Okay, so this can be done using various techniques. What you can Google is DNS poisoning. You poison someone's local DNS, right? So you just specify entries like a name and IP address, like this. You write name twitter.com, which resolves into malicious IP. So how can this be done? Suppose a hacker gives you a program or something like, or suppose you are using a crack software. What crack software does behind the scene is that it comes into this directory. You can check it out right now. So this is the directory that you can check those. Here, there's the file hosts right here. So what you can do is you can just replace this IP address here and write twitter.com. You see what I did here? You just have to install a software behind the scene would just replace this file. You just have to enter one entry here in which you enter malicious IP address and the domain and just save it. I'm not saving it right now. I'm just showing you a demo, or maybe I should just show it to you how it actually works. So right now, you see, if I ping here, if I ping twitter.com, this is the IP address I get, and this is the IP address where my browser strikes, right? So right now, I'll just replace it. Here, done. So let's see what actually happens now. See the IP. This is the real IP address of Twitter that I got when I pinged Twitter. You see, now I ping, I get this IP address. So what I could do is I could give you a program and tell you that this is a crack program of free IDM or free Office or something like that, and that program behind the scenes just change one entry in your computer, and then you are just gone. I could enter facebook.com, twitter.com, instagram.com, Yahoo, MSN, and just enter those entries in your DNS and just completely lure your account, every account information. So this is a very easy way to like fool someone, mm, into to just fool someone. I hope this explanation was a bit clear. This was a social engineering demo that I'll just remove this entry so that doesn't cause problem later on. So was that clear? The demo. I guess no one is commenting, or am I not seeing any comments here? So I hope it was clear. I will move towards next demo. It is a basic pen testing demo. So I'll just turn off the machine because it causes. So I'll start the Kali here, VMware.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, so I have one doubt. This hacking can be possible when someone will be logging through the web content means by logging through Google, Twitter.com. Otherwise, if he is using constantly an app, then how can we enter in his account?
Can you explain your question a bit further?
मीन्स जैसे कि इंस्टाग्राम ही ले लेते हैं तो उसका जो वेब अकाउंट है कि मतलब गूगल पे जाके लॉग इन करने में तो वैसे टाइम पे हमें आईपी एड्रेस जो मिलेगा उसमें हम हमारा डाल के वी कैन हैक हिज अकाउंट और पासवर्ड और डेटा बट इफ ही इज कॉन्स्टेंटली यूजिंग ऑन द ऐप सो वो ऐप हर बार हमें आईपी एड्रेस प्रोवाइड नहीं कर पाएगा ना
Mobile application? Are you talking about mobile application?
या मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन
Actually, mobile application has a different penetration test. It is a different field. Suppose if you are coming into ethical hacking or something like that, then there are different domains. So the pen testing in application is completely like different. एंड इफ यू आर
ओके
सेइंग दैट अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि जैसे एक बंदा ऑलरेडी लॉग्ड इन है, वो बार बार लॉग इन नहीं करेगा, ऐसे कह रहे हैं आप?
हाँ हाँ
हाँ, तो
या
उसमें
एग्जैक्टली
वो मोबाइल ऐप में भी आप किसी को भी इस तरह बेवकूफ़ बना सकते हैं कि आप एक वेब पेज ऐसे ही बनाएं जैसे मैंने एक क्लोन बनाया था, उसमें लिखते हैं ड्यू टू सिक्योरिटी इश्यूज वी हैव लॉग्ड यू आउट, नाउ प्लीज ट्राई लॉगिंग अगेन, राइट? एंड ही विल जस्ट एंटर हिज
ओके
यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड एंड ही इज गॉन.
हाँ या
So
सर
there are
मेरा भी
techniques you have to study, like there are techniques in the books. There are social engineering books. If you read them, there are hundreds of techniques to fool someone. I- so yeah, you can fool someone in various ways. You can create
जी
a sense of urgency. Call someone and tell them you are from bank and there's some
ओके
security issues occurred in your bank account, and just please log in to this and enter your credential information or something like that, and create a sense of urgency कि आपको ये फौरन ही करना है, तो वो बंदा भी घबरा के फौरन ही करेगा, डेफिनेटली सी बात है.
सर
तो बहुत सारी टेक्निक्स हैं,
या
आप जी
ओके
बहुत सारी टेक्निक्स बुक्स में लिखी हुई हैं, या आप खुद कम अप कर सकते हैं इस चीज़ को, तो उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. काफ़ी स्कैम इसी तरीके से चलते हैं, थोड़ी सी
या
इसकी नॉलेज हो. हाँ.
या
सो
मीन्स इसकी नॉलेज हमारे लिए भी मतलब इट्स बेनिफिशियल कि हम भी ऐसे कोई क्लोनिंग में फंस ना जाए
बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली. सो दिस इज व्हाई आई शोड दिस डेमो. Social engineering demo was not the part of my presentation. This was the demo I'm going to show you right now was the part of it. But yesterday Saad discussed about social engineering, so I thought maybe I should show something like that. How easy it is to fool someone.
Yeah, no, your content is genuinely it's really good, and uh,
You can't hear you
uh,
properly now. Hello. Am I audible or you are not audible?
hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So just to appreciate you, your content is genuinely good. You may continue.
Thank you.
I'm disturbing. I think so. Yeah.
No, so I should continue with my second demo of pen testing, right? So this is the machine that I have started, and this is just a dummy hackable machine that I'm going to start and show you how hacking is done in through virtual machines. One second, one second, one second, one second, one second. One, uh, okay, so it's about to start in a minute or so. Here, it's started. So right now we don't know anything about our environment, and just we have no prior information about where we are. So what we could do is first we have to find out our own IP address. So I'm just starting a terminal. Let me just, I always enter wrong password in first try. So this is my current private IP address, and this is the net mask. So you need to have a fundamental knowledge of networking in order to realize what I'm doing right now. So this network mask means that currently my network could have theoretically 254 more computers in my network. So for reconnaissance, in order to find how many networks I have here right now, there's a tool, like multiple tools here available. So I'm going to use nmap. in order to ping each and every possible IP address in my network. So whichever responds first, whichever responds, then I will know that the host is up and he's in my target list. So I'll just paste my password, and 255.255.255.0 in CIDR notation means this, right? So this means that I am going to ping sweep the whole network. This flag means ping sweep. That's SN. So let's wait for the scan. Here we have. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 live hosts in our network. So in lay terms, I could say, let me open up the pant. So we could say that we have this area. In this area, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 homes available, in which one of our home is our own. This is our own home, right? So these are the possible 4 targets that we currently have. So right now I am doing reconnaissance. I'm trying to find out how many homes are there in my area. Okay. So all these are the MAC addresses currently shown here. So what we could do, these 3 IP addresses are used by VMware. So if I could show you here, like this, VMnet 8, and this is the IP address currently used. So I know that the first two and the last one is used by virtualization software. You can Google it, and I already know this. And this one is, I guess, my own IP address. Let me confirm it. Yeah. So this one is our own IP address. So which leaves us with this house, 129. So right. So this is our target. I could say that we are done with our reconnaissance. Now we could so we have just narrowed our scope to one live host machine, which is 192.168.12.129. So we can now start our scanning process. I'm going to use for nmap for scanning again. Dash A means that I'm going to perform operating system redaction, TCP handshake techniques in order to determine the open ports on the host. This is for timing parameter. I want the results to be generated very fast, and this is disabling ping sweep. Uh, and here we go. So in order to Nmap also has a graphical user software. Here I have installed it. It is called ZenMap. I could just its parameters already entered here. I just have to enter one more parameter because I don't want it to ping. So it's showing me the reports. You can say that already, if you are not familiar what I'm doing right now. So this is my Kali machine, and this is the target that I have narrowed down the whole network to just one target, right? So I am performing port scanning here. Port scanning means that this is one computer, and theoretically it could have 65535 ports available, and each port has a particular service on it. So like per se we could say that port 80 has http, 443 has https, 21 has ftp. So each service that your computer is currently running is using one particular port of your computer. So what I am doing is I am peeking through the windows. So like I could say there are 60 around 64,000 ports, 64,000 windows in your home, and I am peeking in each and every one of the window to find out which window is open and in which window I can just break into your home. This is what I am doing. This is what port scanning is. So I guess we have result over here. Uh, here at both places we have port 22, port 111, and port 9090 open. And in graphical user interface, you could see like this: we have 22, 111, and 9090 port enabled. So so we are done with our scanning part. Now what we have to do, we have to analyze the vulnerabilities. So in out of 64,000 ports, we have found only 3 ports. Also one more thing, I have scanned only 1000 top 1000 ports only. If you want to scan all of the 65,000 ports, then it is going to take a lot of time, and this is the parameter that you can use to scan all of the ports. Generally, all of the ports needs to be scanned, but in order to shorten the webinar, I've just scanned top 1000, and we got result. We have three open windows here: 22, 111, and 9090. So what a penetration pen tester from here on do is to analyze these services. So at port 22 we have SSH running, and the version of this is this version. At 11, at 111 we have this, and at 9090 we have this. So we have to analyze each and every port of this and to find out whether the ports are vulnerable or not. So right now I could show you another framework. If you have heard of this exploit DB, this is a whole database here, uh, exploit database. You can search for the exploits or the vulnerabilities here, CVE, and different things like this. It provides the whole, like, it is the treasure of exploitation, and Kali Linux provides a tool in order to search for this. I could show it to you right now. So here we are. I'm going to use search exploit. This is the name of the tool, search exploit. And what I'm going to do is come here and use this version. See the results. So there are generally these numbers of exploits publicly available on the internet. So whatever version is, let me check our version. It is, the version is 6.0 p1, which means that our device is not vulnerable to any previous attacks. From the attacks are from 1.2 to 7.7, and the version, and we have 6.0. So I could say that the device is currently vulnerable to all of these attacks right now. You can download you can just directly navigate to this directory here and start working on your exploitation. And then we have this port. This is generally for communication purposes. And then we have FTP. FTP and SSH, both of them allow you to remotely connect to and to your target machine or another host. So let's see what we have for Pro FTPD. So many exploitations, and the version we are currently have, I think, 1.3.3. Yeah, so 1.3.3 has a compromised backdoor available here, and there are certain different vulnerabilities for different versions. Sometimes there's a vulnerability which is for 1.3.5 but does not work for 1.3.3, so we have to also look for them. But currently I am just going to use this exploit. So this is all available in our framework Metasploit. I'm going to open it. Metasploit is a framework for exploitation, just like it is a mostly widely used. Like Nmap is used for scanning purpose, and then Metasploit is used for exploitation purpose. Generally, the huge hackers write their own exploits and port scanners to perform specific scans and exploits. So let's wait for the tool to boot up, and we will see how exploitation works. Done. So the service was Pro FTPD. So let's search for it. Yeah, here we have the exploits. So we have this version. So I'm going to use this exploit. You need a little bit practice and learning in order to know how these tools are actually being used. What is the theory behind? So I'm going to just use this exploit right now. Use each and every exploit has their options. So I'm going to see what options are there here. So I have to configure remote host, receiving host, and receiving port. So receiving host is our this IP address. This is our target. and port was, I guess, 9090. Yeah, and I'm going to run the exploit. And the exploitation has failed. So we have not exploited it. The reason is that I have not selected a payload in order which is going to be deployed on the target machine. So let's search for the payloads. These are the payloads. So just try the first one. That is not the option. Oh, sorry. Done. So the backdoor is now being sent to the payload is now being sent to the target. Let's see if it is successful. So the TCP handler, no, it is still not successful. Let's see the issues. Want show options. We are good with IP boost show payload, and let's use this. Uh, Wait. So I guess it's not working, and I'm a failed hacker. I'm a failed pen tester. So let's see the options again. Am I missing something? No, I guess not. Oh yeah, I was missing this listening host. So what is my IP address here? My IP address is 128, I guess. Let's see. I hope it works now. Yeah, done. We are in. We have hacked into the system, and let's see what our user who am I is not found ls. Yeah, we have hacked into the system, so we have successfully penetrated into the server, and we can use netcat or other tool to copy the data or just form any sort of attacks into them. So this was the demonstration. I guess I was good with practical, but I was speaking too fast. If there are questions, you may ask me in the comment, or you may open your mic. Hello, Afshan, Mursal, anyone here? Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?